full of good fortune. I wonder what the old me would think if he could see me now. Though the truth is, it's not the skill that's made me so happy.
All right, we're here. We're on the final episode, and I think we can all, as a group, agree that this episode really sucked. Like, this episode was the most episodes of episodes. What I mean is, like, if... Like, I will tell you guys, like, I'm not a talented, like, writer. If you were to tell me to go and write some kind of fiction or fantasy or isekai or some kind of story, it probably would be about this. Like, there's stuff. Like, there's stuff that happens, but nothing actually happens. And that's how I feel about this show in specific. Like, it was an anime. That's about all I can say about it. And, you know what, like, really, really grinds my gears, like, 100% too, is, what really grinds my gears is when it comes to isekai, right? Like, when we think about, like, the premise of isekai, it's taking a modern person like you or I, it's taking a modern, and in most cases, right, they're younger folks. So it's taking a young boy or young girl, who's probably pre-20 years old, and they're pretty modernized, and it's putting them into another world of varying degrees. Typically, they're more fantastical kind of settings, right? And when I think about that, right, you're thinking of your normal below 20-year-old boy or girl who, these are probably like, in modern times that you would kind of refer to these like the iPad kids, right? Like if I think of my kids being isekai or something like that, these are the iPad kids. These are the iPad generation, right? They're not my generation or maybe some of your generation to where it's like, oh, we grew up on like, Nintendo and like, sticks and there wasn't really a lot of like antenna and VCRs and stuff, right? So when I think about that is, that means that they have a pretty good pulse on like media, especially, and where I'm going with this is like in this specific show, our main character did one of the taboos, and one of those taboos is monologuing, in front of a enemy. And in this, he monologued, and he was like, oh, do you know how I defeated you? I defeated you by having the super homing bullets that come out of the sky, and they do X, Y, Z, so try it again. Or, it's like, oh my God, it's like tropium, like Tropium 101, So immediately I was like, okay, well, they did one of the other taboos, okay? The other taboo that this show committed was they introduced an antagonist character the episode before the season ends, and then the taboo that they committed on top of the taboo was having the battle basically virtuistically be unapologetically awful. Like, this is like, think of like every fight that we've gotten in any, kind of shonen type anime where, the Frieza and Goku fight is, 13 episodes. Well, the opposite, this was more like, 3 minutes. It was like a 3-minute kind of fight where he's like, oh, I did this for them. I had to push through for Emily and Bunny Girl and all of that. It was like, well, did you really push through? You kind of just went, oh, you went, I think I got it. Pew, pew. And then he went, headbutt time. And then Emily had to come and be like, oh, don't die on me. But that's like, he just had 0 MP. He gonna be all right, So they did that. The other thing that they committed, another taboo, was they also introduced the angel-looking dude with his little harem who might not even have a harem. He might just be into the main character. I don't know. They had a very curious fellow introduced, I think, last episode, the episode before, too. So they also introduced another, what they consider to be, I guess, based on what they showed us, a core character of the show very late in its life. And then we get the last episode where it's just like a, kumbaya episode. And it's all about like, oh, we're going to live together. We're going to be together forever. We're going to love each other forever. And it's just like, oh my God. Like, so everything that this show did, every avenue it had to really produce something solid. because there are some core things here, like humor and stuff. Like there were some core things to do some solid like storytelling. Here it let all of that go, and it just went for the most tropeistic type of show and the most non-writing writed. You know what I mean? So it was just fine. And this show is definitely not getting a season 2. Like it would be beyond me to ever see a season 2 for this. There's not enough here. It definitely ended. So I don't know. Like this was just not a very good show. And I'm very, very, very disappointed in it. And I think if I were to put a rating on this, it would probably be like a high 4, like a 4.9, 5.2. Definitely just on a 1 to 10 scale with no point differentials. I would say definitely like a 5 out of 10 for sure. The thing that was its saving grace, my friends, was the fact that it had a dub. If I had to read this horrific writing that just did nothing and went nowhere, I would have been even more disappointed, like 4 out of 10. Thankfully, the ability to be like, okay, I'll watch it, is the fact that it was dubbed, so I don't have to like actually sit here and be like, as I'm reading, it's just kind of more like, I can passively kind of like watch it. So its saving grace was that it was dubbed. So anyways, that's my review. It's been a long season. It's finally over. Thank God. So I'm going to see you guys in the next season. Hopefully this next batch of anime we get in the fall, much better than the summertime. Because summertime was kind of like a big, it was like we were in a garden thinking we were going to smell roses and, all the animals farted at once. That's all we got. All right, my friends. I'll see you guys next season. Peace.